And we are now live.
Oh,
Look at
wonderful.
us, two Ukrainians.
Finally, we unite in front of everyone. I love it.
I know, but I don't think many people actually can put it two and two together that we originally came from the same country.
Yeah, I know. But I think if they worked with both of us at the same time, they would quickly figure out similarities.
That's also true. But my accent is so way stronger than yours. So, anyway, everyone, Marina and I originally are from Ukraine. Welcome to this week's Spotlight Friday. I'm very happy to have you here. Thanks for joining us. As always, we can't see you. The only way how we know that you are watching this is if you say hi and if you can just drop some emojis in comments as well. I'm very much looking forward to this discussion. I know you feel uncomfortable about Marina, but I love putting the spotlight on people regardless if they are introverts or extroverts. So sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, I know.
And
We've had so many discussions about this. I'm so comfortable pitching and profiling other brands, but when it comes to me, I sort of shine away from being in the spotlight. So thank you for taking outside my comfort zone, but here I am, and let's do it. I know we're going to be talking about something that you are super passionate about as well, and I really want you to jump in, and for it not to be Marina doing a monologue to everyone else. So much for having
please,
me on. It's such a pleasure. I think someone called this Spotties Club. So I
yes,
think I'm
we found
officially
out about after this
joining.
recording.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
Yes, there is a group called Sporties of all people that have been on Spotlight Fridays previously. And you'll have access to that group after our chat.
Okay.
It's
So
a
I
very
can't run
exclusive
away
group.
just now.
Well, welcome to this discussion. Yes, you're right. We are very passionate about the CX and about post-purchase experience in particular. And you're a specialist in driving strategic growth and experience across so many different industries, and you've been part of some big guns companies as well. So we're all looking forward to you sharing with us some insights on what's happening post delivery, what should be happening, and if you can spill the beans and share some insights with us, that'll be amazing.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. And yes, I have worked at some large companies and across different verticals. I've done G, Australia Post, Toll, REA Group. But the geek in me always comes back to something I'm really passionate about. And I know that sounds so nerdy, but it is everything that happens after post checkout. I'm like a self-acclaimed post checkout queen. And I know that you feel really strongly about that because I actually think the relationship with the customer begins after that post purchase. And I think delivery is treated like a line item on a spreadsheet, whereas it actually should be a brand asset for a lot of companies and how they think about delivery, returns, post purchase communication, and that whole experience. So let's dive right in, shall we?
Yes, we shall. So tell us, Marina, what should be happening after the post purchase?
I think a lot of brands, as you would know this very well, Anna, spend a lot of time on the sexy stuff, right? It's the glossy website, it's the photo shoot, it's all the products that go, on the website. Someone adds to cart, there's excitement, there's a sale. But what happens post purchase? It's the box that arrives on someone's doorstep, and it's that first physical touch point and experience with your brand. And you have an opportunity as a brand to make it a magical touch point or a missed opportunity.
Well, lucky if it does arrive at the doorstep. Sometimes it doesn't.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you have to, trot off to the post office or whatever else might happen. And I think a lot of brands treat it as a logistical kind of logistics transaction and not a brand moment point in time. And I think if anyone was to take away anything from this discussion, is that how can you reframe that delivery conversation around how much is it costing me into what kind of experience do I want to deliver my customers? And I know,
This is
sorry.
This is such a good point because maybe I don't know if it's a female thing, but we are quite tactical when it comes to packaging and tissue paper and what's inside and the whole thing. It doesn't matter if you pay $900 or $90; you still want to have this special experience. And it's an interesting timing because in the preparation for this call, you and I jumped on a little bit earlier, and you heard the doorbell, and there was delivery, and for me, of course, because I shop online. And this is my first experience with this brand that will remain nameless during this discussion, but I might post about my CX experience for them. Beautiful website, beautiful imagery. It's relatively new. It's just been announced on the market, and they have a massive potential. But that parcel that I received it in, it's not desirable at all. It's grayish. It's not. It just does not look good. I haven't had a chance to open it, but I just touched it and I thought, oh, really? I wasn't expecting that. But anyway, so
Well,
you're right.
that's the thing. A lot of again, I've spoken to so many, high-end designer brands in the last couple of years. And there's such a massive disconnect when you go into someone's store and it's beautifully presented as a showroom. And then you shop with them online and you buy an $800 dress and it arrives in a satchel that's not on brand. There's no message inside. It's delivered by someone who doesn't represent that brand. And it's just such a massive disconnect between how they present themselves physically and then how they show up online. And there's such a massive opportunity. And this whole space, especially if someone's shopping with you for the first time, you've got an opportunity to turn someone into a loyal customer or lose them for good.
Yes, and so many brands invest into acquisition, but that understanding the customer lifetime value. So I was very interested, and I know a lot of people commented and messaged me about if you can share some practical insights around this post-checkout experience altogether and how to increase this CLV because it's such an important metric to measure.
Yeah, and we'll definitely get into that. And I've got a whole bunch of stats as well, because it's all very well talking about what we can do, but I think it's really important for brands to actually start with their customer and understand what is important to their customer. So once we get into sort of consumer expectations, I just want everyone to keep that in the back of their mind. You can design an experience based on, best benchmarks and what's out there, but just keep in mind who is your customer, what is important to them, and kind of design that experience from there. And it's quite interesting. I'm going to give you an example. I was on Instagram and I don't know if you know her, Olivia Rogers. She is Miss Universe. I think she was Miss Universe Australia. Anyway, she's a lovely, lovely person who I really enjoy following. But she received a parcel from the Iconic. And it was a pair of boots, and she was doing this unboxing, and it was a really seamless integration. But she wasn't talking just about the boots. She was actually talking about the Metro Express delivery that the Iconic offers to customers and how impressed she was that they offer such a service, and it was amazing. And, her influencers, they have to tag an ad. But I was wondering whether the ad was actually for the boots or for the service. And I think a lot of brands kind of write it off, delivery, it's just something it's a function that happens, but it's an experience. And if your customers experience something great, they will talk about it. And I think
Agree. So was she praising the fast service, the express?
fast. Oh, there's a doorbell. There's another delivery for me. I've got already one line there, so I'm just gonna let them be. So sorry if another doorbell goes. See, we obviously love.
Perfect timing.
I know. Perfect timing.
You should stop shopping online.
I know. And there's Alfie. He's probably going to set Harvey off now. So here we go. That's the reality of
Live streaming.
business from home and live streaming. Yes. And speaking of reviews, I think it's also really important to remember that no one leaves you a review when they just bought something from you. They leave it after the whole process finishes. So keep that in mind, that the whole post-purchase is what will determine the loyalty and advocacy for your brand. And the worst thing you can do as a brand is to have radio silence after someone places an order. So there are some really interesting stats. If the tracking is unclear, you will lose trust. 80% of respondents expect to receive regular updates from the time someone places an order to the time they actually get the parcel. If there are delays, their frustration obviously grows. 58% of customers would not repurchase if they had a bad customer experience. And 30% of customers would not come back to you if they've had a delay. So these are really powerful numbers that impact your return purchases and customer lifetime value. And I want to actually talk, maybe I brought some props to make it a bit more fun. Just example of some retailers who kind of understand that it's not just a package, but it's a brand moment that someone experiences with them. So I bought something from Golden Bee. Some of people might have seen it on my LinkedIn, and it's a ultra fine face tanning mist. It was my first time I shopped with this brand, and I received a handwritten note from the founders. And I just thought it was such a nice touch. And it didn't say much, but it said their most important part: thank you for supporting our small business and how much it means to us. And when I posted about it on LinkedIn, the founder, Anna, actually responded and acknowledged that this experience mattered something to me. And if I think about other brands, so this is another one, I just got this yesterday, Whatnot. It's a BB cream. And they've sent me actually additional samples because it's my first time shopping with them, to make sure if that shade wasn't right for me, I could select the right one. And I just thought that was a really nice touch as well. If you think about Adore Beauty and their famous Tim Tam in the box, like the first time you experience that, how cool and unusual was that? It's like, oh, there's a Tim Tam. When you think about Bird's Nest and their beautiful presentation in the satchel as well, that's something different too. And it doesn't have to cost you a lot of money. It's just, how do you want to show up as a brand? And what are those attributes that are important for your customers? Hamper Emporium. Anyone who ever received their hamper, like, I know they need to be beautifully presented, but their box and that whole unboxing experience is just as good.
I've ordered hundreds of them in my corporate career.
Yeah.
Hundreds. You reminded me with this samples example. I don't know if you've seen Peter from Try with Mirror posted a couple of weeks ago about their Julik experience, how they've included now the samples as well. And if you don't like it, you return it. I think it's just bravo to Julik. It's brilliantly done. The brand needs to be customer centric in order to weave that into their P&L, obviously, because the samples costing them as well. So I can guarantee you those people know their CLV of their customers. But you're absolutely right. It is that beautiful experience, and it's frictionless as well. And also, it just leaves a very good taste afterwards.
Absolutely. And I was actually, it's funny you mentioned Try with Mirror, because I was going to drop Peter a note and say that this brand need to actually speak to them, because I understood why they included the samples, but they didn't include a note, and I feel like there's a massive opportunity for them to partner with Try with Mira, but more about Try with Mira shortly. So let's maybe just geek out a little bit and shift the gear, and I'm going to tell you some stats that around deliveries in Australia.
Between you and Damien Lucas, you just should run the whole
No, no,
stats
no, no, no.
department.
I'm gonna power through it. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna.
No, it's great. I think it's incredible. You two are so geeky.
Yeah, I'm geeky and proud to say that I'm geeky. So, according to Australia Post 2025 e-commerce report, which is fun fact, was actually my baby 10 years ago. So my team launched it, and I'm really proud that Bros Yip from Australia Post, she's still carrying on and driving it. But there are some really interesting information in it this year. 78% of shoppers say delivery experience affects satisfaction, and 85% say reliable delivery will be the most important trust factor of why they come back to a brand in the next 5 years. Now, that is a giant number. 56% of all shoppers rate free shipping as their top preference, which is not surprising. Free shipping always for people comes across, so that didn't really surprise me. The number around returns was really surprising. So 65% of all shoppers, and that number is even higher for younger generation, 72%, say friction-free returns are essential for great online shopping. And so just think about all the brands where returns is like hidden in the fine print, and you need to go on Discovery Channel to actually locate what is happening. So retailers don't do that. Refunds are the most preferred outcome. So 90% across the board said that's important to them. And if you look at willingness to pay, there's absolutely that. And again, the younger segments, they're more willing to pay than the older generation, which again is not surprising. But that number is around $10 to $15 is the comfort zone. Obviously for the items, for those who value speed, and especially in those categories such as, fashion, liquor, health, and wellness. But from all the data and reports that I've seen in my career, I think what is the resonating factor is that transparency. That matters the most. Doing what you say you will do matters.
I agree with you. And if you don't accept the full refunds and it's only store credits, then communicate that. It's also fine.
Yeah. I'll tell you a funny story. At Australia Post, must have been 6-8 years ago, we actually decided to do this trial. And as I was preparing for this, I was actually thinking, what were we thinking? So the trial was to surprise and delight customers and send them things earlier before they were expecting it. Now that sounds really good, right? Because you're like,
Surprise.
how great is that? I get something early. However, we discovered that back then, there wasn't such thing as really remote working. So people had to rearrange their days to be at home for when we said we would deliver. And so when we delivered earlier, then they would have to trot off to the post office, and it interrupted their day. We actually ruined someone's birthday, and they told us all about it. Because when we delivered early, the person whose present it was for actually accepted the parcel. So I think it's really important to manage expectations, and like I said, do what you said you were going to do.
Yes, and what is relevant in 2025?
Yeah. And I'm just mindful of time, but I want to get through this next part. What do best brands do differently? And I've got a couple of plugins for our friends because I do think they are best in class. But like I said, again, keep in mind, know your customer and deliver what works for them. So super basic, make sure you use real-time tracking and brand notifications. Like that sounds really basic, but again, not a lot of brands do that. You have to offer choice. So home delivery, out of home, so like parcel lockers, etc., click and collect. Tiered delivery options, that's really important. And you don't have to figure it out yourself. There are the likes of Shippers of this world that can help you select the right carriers for your mix to deliver the experience that you want. And this is where supply diversification is super important as well. Don't just rely on one carrier. Make sure you've got a few in the mix. So I've spoken about returns. So returns are really important to people, and those, instant refunds. So refunded is a great option. But if I was a retailer, I would check out Try with Mira. I think what Try with Mira is doing is absolutely bloody awesome. If you don't know about them, you try the items, you shop online, you select what you want, you send back what you don't want. They've managed to achieve a 39% increase in AOV for retailers. So to me, it seems like a no-brainer. So that's just definitely a plug for them. You can use delivery as an extra lever for your loyalty program. So a lot of retailers that I've spoken to again over the last couple of years, they consider that for their top tier customers, where they would give them a free express delivery as an incentive. And consider how sustainability plays into the delivery as well. A lot of conscious consumers, especially in the sort of younger segments, they care how things arrive. So check out Pack to the Future. I think they also have a trial moment.
Yes.
So Dave, drop him a note. Embed customer support options right into the tracking journey, and don't forget about the customer look. I think that one is so important. And our friends at Humi, big shout out to them. They can
He's 3 years old today.
yeah, happy birthday, Humi. So they can help you figure out the friction points and fix them as well. And I think the biggest one, and I know Anna, you can probably talk for days about this last point, but you need to treat delivery as a connected system. Marketing, ops, supply chain, CX, they all need to be in the same room. I can't tell you how many meetings, and it comes back to who then owns the customer, because everyone thinks they have got a part to play in that customer experience. But all those functions, that all need to be on the same page to make it sing and make it work.
100%. And it's an exclusive effort, not an exclusive one. It can't just sit with digital. It can't just sit with the person sits in the corner and they deal with customer inquiries, or they outsource it offshore, whatever that might be. But yes, that's why I talk about customer ownership. And the answer is everyone, and no one is no one. So yes, someone needs to drive it, someone needs to lead it, and get the right people in the room and the heads of all departments. So everyone needs to be responsible and own that journey, because without the customer, you can't have the business. But you are so typical you, Marina, because you're always cheering everyone on. I hope that Peter is watching this, and Dave also. If they don't, I'll make sure I'll tag them after this so that they can watch the replay. But agree. They are in our LinkedIn community. They're doing a wonderful job. And as startups, it's an absolute pleasure to support them. But they truly are obsessed with the good CX, and they
Yeah.
deserve this shout out. And so is Humi. I met Humi when it was their first month in operation. So yes, I'm very attached to it emotionally, to their success for sure, and I want to see them thriving. And to everyone else who joined us today, thank you for giving up half of your lunch hour. And I've never seen so many comments floating through, so we'll definitely respond to it afterwards. Marina, it's been such a pleasure. I Thanks to your post, I realized that there are it's an introvert central to a degree
Oh,
on LinkedIn as
goodness
well.
me, isn't it just?
You and I can have a conversation about who is the biggest introvert, me or you. We'll
Mm,
post it
let's
maybe
do
later.
it.
No,
Yeah.
sure. We'll just run the quiz. Anyway, everyone who joined, always a pleasure. You know, these conversations, they're very fluid and we keep them fluid. They're not pre recorded, but the recording will be available afterwards. So thanks, everybody.
Thank
Have
you
a
for
great
having me,
rest
Anna.
of the
Thanks
day.
everyone for joining.
Marina, it's been such a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.